Hey Earthrealm, I'm Andrew, and I wish I didn't waste all my cool moves in last week's Kung Fu video, because today we're talking about Mortal Kombat! The controversial arcade classic came out 25 years ago, and it spawned a franchise that goes well beyond video games.
Oh, yikes! Okay, yikes!
Almost everyone knows about the movies. The first one is like literally the only good video game adaptation, and the sequel is one of the best, worst movies ever made.
Bow to me!
Even if my boy Johnny Cage gets punked out in the first 5 minutes.
No, Johnny!
But did you know that there was actually a Mortal Kombat Saturday morning cartoon? Or a live touring stage show that was basically Disney on Ice with Sub-Zero and Scorpion? We're gonna cover all of that and more, so get over here! And let me tell you about a few Mortal Kombat spin-offs that you might not have heard about. Spin-off games. Let's stick with the games for right now. There are 10 official fighting games in the Kombat canon. That's if you count Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe, which you damn well better because it made Injustice happen, one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. Mortal Kombat has a ton of lore, and you know, it's hard to tell stories through the medium of two people sweep-kicking each other to death.
Hey, who cares if it makes any sense?
You should care, Johnny Cage.
If I have one sliver of health left, you better believe that there's no honor code of gaming, and I'm just gonna sweep kick till I win. So, they made a few games in other genres to fill out the world a little more. Like Mortal Kombat Mythologies, Sub-Zero from 1997. It's a 2.5-dimensional platformer that tells the origin story of our frosty anti-hero, and shows how his duel to the death with Scorpion went down. Mythologies is the last Mortal Kombat game to use digitized sprites instead of polygons for the characters. I always thought that the series lost its panache when they made the switch. Mortal Kombat 4 is ugly as sin. I'll take people sitting on stairs pretending to bicycle kick any day. The PlayStation version had these cheesy live-action cutscenes. They couldn't fit these onto the Nintendo 64 cartridge, but I rented it anyway because the Nintendo 64 thirst was real. Mythologies used the same control scheme as the fighting games, but it's kind of a bad fit for a game where you fight multiple enemies at a time. You even have to press a button just to turn around. It's a huge pain in the ass. But it's not even the worst Mortal Kombat spin-off game. That honor has to go to Mortal Kombat Special Forces. It was a 3D beat-em-up for the PlayStation, kind of like Streets of Rage meets Tomb Raider. Sounds sick, right? It's an unfinished, rushed mess.
You're gonna pay for this.
Development was such a disaster that series co-creator John Tobias quit the company halfway through. Also, classic character Sonya Blade was supposed to be playable, but she wasn't. She was actually cut from the game because there was such a scramble to get the mess done. Instead, it just stars Jax, who's never really been cool, at least within the context of the series, and Sonya Blade would have been a way better choice. She had recognition, she was in movies, and she had a way cooler moveset. I'm not gonna start caring about a fighter just because you gave him big metal arms between games. Whatever. They tried to give Jax a personality, and I'll let you be the judge if the new blaxploitation-inspired Jax was a success or not.
Too bad I had to take her out though. That Tazia sure was a looker.
It's very 90s, but the influence is there. If you're gonna play a Mortal Kombat spin-off, try Shaolin Monks for the PS2 or the Xbox. It retells the events of Mortal Kombat II as a 3D brawler starring Liu Kang and Kung Lao. And it's actually awesome. Sure, there's some backtracking, but it's cool to see a bare-bones fighting game story as a fully realized adventure. It's never really been re-released, but if you can track it down, Shaolin Monks is solid. But let's move on to Mortal Kombat The Live Tour. In the 90s, if there was a mega hit kids franchise, odds are there was some kind of live touring stage show to go along with it. Like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or Blue's Clues, or Sesame Street, and who could forget the legendary Ninja Turtles coming out of their shells tour? I know I can't. Brought to you by who else? Pizza Hut.
Pizza power makes the turtles bells start ringing. Pizza power. Come on, let me hear you!
But I'm not really sure why anyone thought that Mortal Kombat would be a good fit for this kind of thing. Well, no, okay, I actually have a pretty good idea. Corporations.
Live Tour appeals to a whole new age category in live entertainment. Kids are spending millions of their own dollars on video games.
This whole promo video is gross. They know damn well that the appeal of Mortal Kombat is truckloads of gore, but they tried to downplay it with this bullshit positive messages and cause-related tie-ins.
What helps children be able to be concerned about violence?
Mortal Kombat, brought to you by Doctors Without Borders. Mortal Kombat, brought to you by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You had to hand it to them. The performers tried their best, even if everyone looked kind of embarrassed to be in their costumes. They looked kind of awkward up there, you know, being demons and kung fu fighters in front of 5-year-olds and their bored parents. Except for Sonya. She was actually played by the same actress who modeled for her sprite in Mortal Kombat 3, which is a cool little nod to, you know, her origins. And Shang Tsung holds his own pretty well with this TV interview.
My name is Shang Tsung.
All right.
I don't know, maybe it would have been cool. They had some pretty bitchin' lasers going on, and I could have really used those exclusive cheat codes, because they gave out exclusive cheat codes back when the internet wasn't a thing. It's kind of cute. But I'm sure baby me would have been disappointed by the kid-friendly lack of, you know, spine ripping and disemboweling and just pushing eyes in people's skulls, you know what I'm saying? It's a real shame. They could have had tarps covering the front row like Splash Zone at SeaWorld, but we have to thank Joe Lieberman for that. Thanks, Joe. The live show wasn't the only wildly age-inappropriate adaptation either. They even had Mortal Kombat cartoons. Cartoons, with a K. The first Mortal Kombat cartoon was a straight-to-VHS prequel to the first film called The Journey Begins. I remember renting this at the video store thinking it was the actual movie that somehow got released early, and I was not happy.
I think I'm gonna hurl.
It's got some of the worst CGI I've ever seen, even for the time. This thing makes Reboot look like Ratatouille, and the 2D animation is pretty hideous. Do you guys remember that ludicrous Street Fighter Saturday morning cartoon? You know, the one from all the YouTube poops?
Yes! Yes!
It actually aired as a double-header with Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. And you know, it's not nearly as bad. It's a pretty standard kids show for the era. A bunch of highly marketable characters fly around the world in jets shaped like dragons, and they're looking for magic portals or amulets or scrolls or whatever. It definitely had better voice talent.
Scorpion just bought a one-way ticket to the realm of lost souls.
Clancy Brown played Raiden. You probably know him best as Mr. Krabs.
Okay, money! Children!
Or Lex Luthor in the DCAU.
What? You gonna wash your hands? No, cause I'm evil.
Which is funny because Lex Luthor and Mr. Krabs are pretty much the same person. Even cooler, he was the Kurgan in Highlander, opposite Christopher Lambert, aka Raiden in the first Mortal Kombat movie. And Stryker was played by Ron Mother Effin Perlman, which is great, but Stryker, he's the dirt worst. He's a regular dude with a gun, completely invalidates the entire premise of Mortal Kombat. It's fisticuffs, it's hand-to-hand combat, whatever, I'm not gonna think about it. Once again, they toned down the ultra-violence, so there are no fatalities or brutalities or even babalities, the bestialities. I guess they didn't want little kids puking in their Fruit Loops whenever Kano rips someone's heart out. It makes sense. It even censored flashbacks to the movie, like Sub-Zero's death scene. Overall, it wasn't a bad little cartoon. The Mortal Kombat franchise is still going strong, even if it's not the global phenomenon that it used to be. The last non-game adaptation was that Mortal Kombat Legacy web series from a few years back. The whole, what if these magic video game characters were in the real world, man? That shtick is pretty cringy. But the director took a tiny budget and turned it into a pretty decent take on the series. He was going to direct a new movie, but now Saw creator James Wan has taken charge of the reboot. I'm not entirely sold. He's definitely got a handle on the gore, but I'm not sure what he's going to bring to the table that can top the flawless victory that first movie truly is.
Those were $500 sunglasses, asshole.
You know, for the time being, I think I'm fine with Mortal Kombat just being a fighting game. After all, it's the only fighting game where you can do shit like this.
Finish him.
Hey Hey guys, I'm Andrew, and Mortal Kombat is actually a series that's very near and dear to my heart. Mortal Kombat was one of the first games I ever played, which I think my parents didn't appreciate or like at all. If you like this video, we're gonna be doing more video game deep dives, so be sure to check out NowThis Nerd, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.